This video shows how you may solve the problem when you have an onClick on your fragment in an Android application. So if you have an activity like this one, an activity, and you write in an activity in a text view an onClick, so this would always work. You may say this is my client, my local event, something like this. This would, if you have the method here on your corresponding Java file, then this would work. But if you change that stuff onto your on a fragment, if you take the code and using a fragment, and you have do the same there at the onClick event, then you will mention that that this doesn't work anymore, because when you have a fragment, the fragment always goes to the parent element. So in my case, I have here, where is it, the activity main. I have here a view pager. This is the container, a big container where all those fragments go in there. And if an event happens in the fragment which is loaded in here, then the event first goes up to the parent activity, and then goes, you may route it into your client in your sub page. So this is no solution, and now we're changing this stuff. We have here now in this example, I have a text view, and the text view tries to call the onClick, which is my code behind fragment page setup, and the corresponding stuff is this page setup of alarms. And in there I have a method which is called, in this case, where is it? This is my switch alarm, don't need it anymore. That time picker, what was it called? Daytime view onClick. Daytime view onClick, that's it. So I make a marker on there. Now this is a public void, and it always worked when I used that method in my application, but it doesn't work anymore, and that's why it's highlighted here. So what we do there, we throw out all that stuff. We say, okay, the text view is clickable, okay, but we don't need this stuff anymore in a fragment. We take out all those onClick stuff. And now what I also show you here is how you may solve the problem if you have several buttons, text views, switch elements, or something like this. And if you want the same method which happens on there. So now this text views, they are all called plus ID, so this is our ID, and then we have text view wake up 0 1 2 3 4 5, something like this. And what we do now, we go to our code behind page setup JavaScript alarms, and in there we know we're not reacting on this one anymore straight, but we want what we have to do, we have now to go into this is our page alarms extends fragment. And if you have this one, if you have a fragment, you may drop a line which is called, where is it here? You may implement this point, which is called override. If you type in Control O, then you will find a lot of stuff which is override methods coming from the fragment. And you may override that. So we say override on view created view bundle save instance state, and then this is our instant. You know, this one, the page is here, or subpage or fragment is will be initialized. So this is when we call it. Then we have the onCreate method, and then on create view. So this is only the stuff behind the instance that it's there. Then we have the inflator, which looks up for the XML stuff and it's inflating it, reading what is inside XML. And then finally, when it's inflated, we have the on view created. So after inflating, we have the view is created. Now what we do there, we say something like this. I said simply drop that code lines, which are also on my on the link below on my website. Now I want to route my my text view events, text view or button events, like something like this. And I say, okay, this is for multiple views. This is for views which has a different name. So, and we would say here for iText view, iText view. In this case is an iText view from 0 to 6. And there we have to say, I'm not sure if it's 6 or 7, okay, but we will say the name of this view is, we say, hey, look up for the ID, which is a number, integer number, from the resources, get the identifier of type ID from the current package. And there we need the name of this text is called, in this case, the ID is text view wake up. I say, hey, look up for this stuff, which is called text view wake up. Now the loop goes through, it finds an ID, and now we are binding the ID to a SetOnClickListener. So we say find the ID by this, find the view ID, the view by the ID, okay, with this number. And now we have a special listener which only listens to this ID. And then we say, okay, this view, which we are local, we find local, we add here SetOnClickListener, especially on this, and then new view onClicklistener, and then we say override onClick. So we have a click listener, override, and then we say we jump now to our method, which is in this case the method here. We said, okay, daytime view onClick, and that's all. Now I have a loop over all that stuff, and when we run it on our local device, on our emulator, where's the emulator? There it is. Now we're starting it. So that's it. And we're starting now our application. I think it should run. It's installing there, Gradle build running. And as yeah, now it is there, it is. And when we click on there, you will see this is now the reaction which happens there. It's doing some color and looking for this stuff. So this works, and we have it now in our fragments. That's in a fragment. It means we may, it's only in this case, in this small case, and I may activate that slider, and you will find the code on my website in here. This is my website, and inside there's the code, and the link for that code is on below the video. And if you liked it, hey, make a thumbs up.